Bonjour class. In this week's gesture video, we are going to practice 3 new verbs, and then we're going to learn the past tense of a verb that we've already learned, okay? So, the first word I want to introduce is lire. This is the gesture for lire. Not to be confused with écrire. Écrire, I make like a imaginary pencil, right? Écrire is to write. Lire is to read. Lire, écrire. Read, write. Okay, so lire is to read. So je lis is I read. Tu lis, you read. Elle lit, she reads. Il lit, he reads. Nous lisons, we read. Vous lisez, y'all read. Ils lisent, they read. Elles lisent, they read. Okay, that's our first verb. The second verb is penser. Penser. This is our gesture for penser. Penser means to think. Penser. Okay. Écrire, to write. Lire, to read. Penser is to think. All right, so je pense, I think. Tu penses, you think. Il pense, he thinks. Elle pense, she thinks. Nous pensons, we think. Vous pensez, y'all think. Ils pensent, they think. Elles pensent, they think. Okay, écrire, to write. Lire, to read. Penser, to think. Dire is to say. The gesture for dire is quotation marks, because when you say something, what you say is in quotation marks. So dire, the quotation marks are our gesture for dire, to say. Okay, so je dis is I say. Tu dis, you say. Il dit, he says. Elle dit, she says. Nous disons, we say. Vous dites, y'all say. Ils disent, they say. Elles disent, they say. And then the last one is we're going to practice the past tense of regarder. So remember that this gesture means to look at or to watch, regarder. And then when we gesture over our shoulders, that tells you it's in the past tense. So, j'ai regardé is I watched. Tu as regardé, you watched. Il a regardé, he watched. Elle a regardé, she watched. Nous avons regardé, we watched. Vous avez regardé, y'all watched. Ils ont regardé, they watched. Elles ont regardé, they watched. Okay, great. To practice, we're going to start by me saying the word in English and doing the gesture. At home, I want you to do the gesture along with the video. Okay? So, I read. You should be doing the gesture at home. You think. He says. I say. She thinks. We say. They watched. I watched. She says. You read. We read. They say. She watched. Okay, next I'm going to say the word in French and do the gesture. And at home, I want you to do the gesture and repeat the word you hear me saying in French. Okay? J'ai regardé. Tu dis. Il lit. Nous avons regardé. Elle pense. Vous lisez. Vous lisez. Je pense. Tu dis. Il a regardé. Ils ont regardé. Vous dites. Je lis. Elle pense. Okay, next I'm going to say the word in English and you do the gesture that matches it. I read. We think. Y'all think. You say. I think. He watched. They read. I say. You watched. We watched. He thinks. You read. Okay, next I'm going to say the word in French and do the gesture. You at home do the gesture and say what it means in English. Okay? Elle pense. Vous lisez. Je dis. Nous pensons. Vous dites. Je dis. Il lit. Nous lisons. Il pense. Elles disent. Tu dis. Vous avez regardé. Tu as regardé. Je dis. J'ai regardé. Elle pense. Okay, now I'm going to say the word in French and I'm not going to do the gesture. I want you to show me you understand by doing the gesture at home. Je dis. Je pense. Je lis. J'ai regardé. Tu as regardé. Elle pense. Elle a regardé. Elle dit. Tu dis. Il a regardé. Il pense. Il dit. Nous pensons. Nous lisons. Nous disons. Nous avons regardé. Vous avez regardé. Vous pensez. Vous lisez. Vous dites. Okay, for the last part of the video, I'm going to do the gesture and you do your best to say the word in French. I know this is the hardest part. It's not going to be perfect. Just do the best you can. Okay? All right, great job with your gestures. I really encourage you guys to re-watch all of your gestures video. They're great practice with the new vocabulary words we're learning. Okay, très bien fait. À la prochaine. Ciao.